The Galactic Council prided itself on order, knowledge, and control. Across the stars, thousands of planets had been mapped, measured, categorized. Some were verdant and serene, others barren and lifeless. But a rare few, less than 0.02%, were classified as death worlds. These were not merely hostile, they were oppositional, living, breathing threats wrapped in planetary form. Everything on them had evolved not just to survive, but to kill. They were classified from 1 to 5, with Class 5 reserved for the worst imaginable hells, worlds that killed not just through creatures or weather, but through the very logic of their existence. Worlds where ecosystems were so violently efficient, even microbes had teeth. This planet had no formal name, just a designation, VX797 Delta, and a red banner in the Council archives, Deathworld Class 5, no colonization permitted, no rescue operations authorized. Even approaching it required a waiver of liability. When the human envoy requested colonization rights, the chamber rippled with disbelief. The humans had only joined the Council 90 years ago, energetic, reckless, adaptive. Their homeworld, Earth, had been considered a mild Class 2. It had oceans, seasons, and the occasional storm, yes, but nothing remotely like this. And yet, there stood Commander Suri Hale and her delegation, asking, no, declaring their intent. The Death World is not our enemy, she said. It is a challenge, one we are uniquely suited to face. Laughter echoed through the chamber. Some species hissed, others vibrated. A few recorded her speech as comedy. They approved the request anyway, thinking it would be a lesson. Let them try, let them fail, let them learn humility. The first ships arrived in orbit 6 months later. VX797 Delta was breathtaking from space, swirling crimson storms, jagged continents, rivers of glowing minerals snaking through the surface. Beautiful and utterly lethal. Humanity's vanguard force was small. 300 volunteers, engineers, biologists, soldiers, medics. Each had undergone 2 years of training under high gravity, simulated acid storms, and predator evasion drills. All of them signed a contract that did not guarantee survival, only legacy. The drop pods landed amidst chaos. Electrical storms fried half the satellites before they could stabilize. Entire supply crates were swallowed by carnivorous vines within minutes of impact. On day 1, 10 lives were lost. By day 7, the number had risen to 32. And yet, they remained. They learned quickly. The ground was laced with reactive minerals that exploded under compression, so they built hover platforms. The air carried fungal spores that caused madness, so they developed mask filters using enzymes found in the local trees. Every predator that attacked taught them something. Every death led to a redesign. By the end of the first year, they had not just survived, they had adapted. They called their home Outpost Aegis, not a fortress, but a shield, a pact between humanity and the world around them. Suri Hale led by example. She hunted alongside scouts, repaired filtration systems with engineers, and sat vigil with the dying. Her leadership earned not just loyalty, but belief. People didn't follow orders, they followed her. But even she could not stop all the dangers. In year 2, a quake released a subterranean gas that rendered half the colony unconscious. Predators swarmed the dome. The colony lost 68 people in one night. They mourned, then they rebuilt. With every disaster, the colony grew smarter, faster, stronger. Children were born in reinforced shelters. Their lullabies were coded warnings about the sounds of nearby predators. Toddlers learned to walk in high gravity. Teenagers passed their survival rites by navigating biotoxic forests alone and returning with samples. Earth was a memory. This was home now. Meanwhile, in the distant halls of the Galactic Council, unease had begun to settle. What was meant to be a tragic lesson had become a spectacle. Alien media channels reported on the Deathworlders, broadcasting updates from afar like a reality show. But as years passed, curiosity turned to concern. Human expansion didn't stop. Outpost Aegis became a city, then a network of settlements. They cracked geothermal power, domesticated certain species, even began trading synthesized compounds with council-aligned merchants. By year 10, they requested diplomatic status as an autonomous planetary civilization. The council hesitated. A new voice had joined the choir, a voice that hadn't just faced death, but lived in its shadow, a voice that no longer asked permission. So the council sent an envoy to investigate. What they found defied every projection. The human colony was more than functional. It was flourishing. Towering biospire farms, fusion reactors harnessing the planet's heat, hybrid creatures bred to serve as transportation or defense, and everywhere, signs of harmony between technology and wildness. Humans hadn't beaten the planet into submission. They'd learned its rhythms and danced with them. The envoy interviewed children who had never known another world. When asked if they missed Earth, one boy replied, "Why would I miss a place with soft ground and weak animals?" Suri Hale, now graying, guided the delegates personally. When asked why they stayed, she answered, "Earth taught us how to survive. This world taught us what we could become." Eventually, the council had no choice. They reclassified the planet. Deathworld Class 5, inhabited. Dominant species, human. Status, independent. Interaction, proceed with caution. The story didn't end there. Other species began to request training from the humans. Entire delegations traveled to VX-797 Delta to learn survival techniques. Some perished, others endured. A few even stayed, becoming part of the colony's tapestry. The humans had not just claimed the planet. They had created a culture forged by challenge, bonded in blood and grit and triumph. They called themselves Aegisians now, named for that first outpost, for that first shield they raised against the world's fury. And when a new death world was discovered, Class 5, perhaps even worse, the council didn't debate who should lead the expedition. They simply sent a message, "Aegis, are you ready?" The reply came a minute later, "We were born ready."